See how long this lasts. Welcome, guys. Mr. Subin, Jessica, it's nice to see you again. So general cards for Mr. Subin. I hope you're doing well, Jess. I feel like I'm just barely scraping by here, but yeah, setting boundaries, standing on my boundaries. Has it been so long? So I've got temperance for Mr. Subin. My nose is itching. Give me a sec. It is number 14. Okay, so in the position of the past, this is like, it's talking about a relationship, and it's also talking about like a project, something you started working on. I don't know what that was. Maybe it was a drawing, a painting. It's something where you had to apply your creativity. So it doesn't have to look like traditional art, doesn't have to look like music or painting or things like that. It could be any project that you started working on and completed. It also talks about relationships, you know, in that project. It doesn't mean a romantic relationship. It could be like a parent-child relationship. It could be like a best friend relationship. It's just someone who helped you with that project, whatever it was. And it's like a strong founding stone for your identity. Like, you go through a hanged man, which is where you face the challenges, like I've seen in your readings. You went through princes and hanged man position. You faced challenges that you'd been neglecting, and then you were reborn. Your whole way of life died, and you had to give birth to a new way of life, and adapting to that, you know, solidifying yourself within the new way. It's a good card. Page of Swords. Page of Swords. So in the present, you're like getting your own goals into priority. Like, okay, what do you want? And what do you need to learn in order to get what you want? You're putting your own goals into like an order of priority. Like, okay, this is what I need to do. This is how I need to do it, and then talking about it. You know, expressing yourself to family and saying, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is what I want to do, this is what I need to go through to get there, and you know, just so that they can be flexible with what it is you're setting in motion. Also, good card, good changes I see here. Okay, we've got the World in reverse, number 21 as your future card. So this one is like a warning. It first says to you, you can have whatever you desire, you can manifest anything, as above, so below, as within, so without. Whatever you can see in your mind, you can make it real for yourself. But it wants to warn you that as you step out, so you make a visual, you're like, this is the life I want to live. And then you're like, okay, this is how I accomplish it. And then you try to accomplish it, but then you find yourself procrastinating, or you find yourself making justifications as to why you can't do that. There's something in my eye, excuse me. Basically, yeah, procrastination, distraction, it's all the aspects of yourself that get in your own way. You are your worst enemy, I'm my own worst enemy. So this card is talking about the parts of yourself that will impede your progress, that will prevent you from making your physical world the same as what you can visualize. And so what it the suggestion it has for you is to change the way you do it. So an example would be, I want to write articles, but I get distracted by social media, so then I have to make a change. Okay, I won't have any links or bookmarks related to social media on this device, and I will use this device exclusively for writing. So that is an example. Whatever it is, whatever aspects of yourself that come up that prevent you from moving forward towards your destination, you've got to learn to work around it. Biko87, my name is Karin Joshua. Welcome, by the way. Good to have you. Biko, what is your name? And Jess is up next in the queue saying, can I know what's the energy of Avinash towards me? Okay. Who is Avinash, Jess? Like, I know he's someone that you've had a relationship with. Someone you're close to. And that's as much as I know. Thanks for the follow, Biko. I think that's a follow. I see a B. Used to be in a relationship. Okay, so X. Biko, you're most welcome to get a reading. You'll be next in the queue after Jess. So you can see Jessica is on YouTube requesting a reading. You'll be after Jessica. Am I going to read with these cards for you, Jess? Does the spirit call for me to read with this Rider-Waite clone? What is his energy current towards you? What is your energy current towards him? Because that will give you a tip. So I'm not going to ask that question directly. I'm just going to let the cards speak to you, you know, and tell you what they want to tell you about him, about your relationship to him, past and present, and about your own attitude in the situation. Let's go. Okay, so we've got Two of Cups here. This is the first card. So this is talking about your relationship as it was. In this card there are two people. One of them looks more feminine than the other, but both of them are pretty much non-binary. They're giving each other their cups. They're like swapping cups, sharing cups. So the cup being like a symbol of your emotional well-being and your you know, your company and your creativity and everything that you are. So you shared that with each other. You shared your cups, everything that you were. Of course, welcome horse-drawn portrait. That's cool. You can join the queue. So, yeah, this card is talking about the relationship you did have. It's saying that it was actually a very fulfilling relationship. Like Two of Cups in reverse, I would say it was a codependent relationship where you were expecting him to fill your cup, and he was expecting you to fill his cup. But the card is the right way around, meaning that you were both pretty much satisfied alone before you got into the relationship. You were able to give yourself nourishment, self-care, self-love before you even went into the relationship. So your cup was pretty much full when you decided to share it. And the same applied to him. So it's basically saying the relationship was great in that way. It was actually pretty healthy, and it was actually quite healing. I even see symbols of Mercury and healing here. Where are we in the present? Seven of Wands. Okay. Okay, cool. So in this card, there's a woman and she's holding a rod and she's like fighting off 6 other rods. So I love that picture. That's fucking fantastic. Very symbolic. What that is talking about is like having many desires and many intentions, but it's too many. So you have to choose one desire. You have to choose one intention. And then, you know, people from the outside, they come in and be like, don't you want this? Didn't you like that? Why were you used to work towards this? And it's like you have to defend your right to choose the desire and the outcome you've chosen. So that's kind of like what's going on for you in the present. And And I feel like Avinash is one of those rods that you need to fend off. The desire that you're holding in your hand, that you're using, it's more to do with your own personal desires, like not to do with relationship, not to do with him or his desires, but to do with what you want to accomplish with your own life, like career goal maybe, health goals, whatever it is that your desires are, separate to relationship, and you've chosen that already. You've already made your decision. And so now you've got this pull towards him and all of these other ideas, all these other desires and intentions that are like battering at you, and you need to defend the one that you've chosen because you've already started investing in that one. You've already started moving towards that destination. If you go and choose other things now, you throw away all the progress you made with what you are already working on, if that makes sense. Future interval is the King of Wands. He's reversed. King of Wands, that's like a rebirth. King of Wands is a rebirth in your intentions. Okay, so what this card is saying is that before you go into a relationship, whether it's and you start again with Avinash, or if you find a new partner, this card is saying before you get there, you're going to have to go through a rebirth in what it is that you want from a relationship. Like, why do you look for a relationship in the first place? What are your intentions towards the person when you go into a relationship? So those things need to be reborn. Like, your reasons for wanting a relationship and for like looking for people and dating people needs to be reborn. It's not saying that the way your intentions have been wrong. You've had some selfish desires, you've had some selfless desires. Everyone does, and you will always. It's still encouraging a rebirth. It's not even encouraging, it's saying that it's gonna happen. It's saying before you can get into another relationship long term, you're gonna have to go through this rebirth, and it's not gonna be something you choose. The universe is gonna put it on you. The universe is choosing it for you. What does that look like in real world? What did that look like in the real world? It's like when you have certain experiences, or you feel like you desire to travel. Here's an example. I feel like I desire to travel. So I make plans for that. I buy a vehicle and I save up, and then I go travel. And while I'm traveling, or by the time I'm ready to get into my vehicle and go traveling, I realize, hey, this isn't actually what I desire. I actually desire to homestead and be self-sustaining and stay at home and build a life with a partner. That's actually what I desire. And I only realized that because I tried it out, I got the vehicle, I played out that lifestyle in my head, I even gave it a try, and only through that experience was I able to learn that that's not what I truly desire. So, King of Wands, something like that has to happen, where a relationship presents itself, the possibility of a relationship with Avinash or with someone else presents itself, and you try and go for it, and then you realize, hey, this isn't actually what I desire. I have personal desires, personal goals that are actually more important to me. So next up is Biko, and then Horse-Drawn Portrait would be up next after that. But I seriously need to blow my nose. My nose is really acting up, and I can feel it. It's impeding my ability to speak. Okay, I'm back. This is for Biko. I'm not going to use these cards to read for you, Biko. I'm going to use these. So this is called the Modern Witch Tarot. It's like a modernized take on the Rider-Waite deck. This is the Thoth Tarot. You can't hear me? Oh no. What's going on? It's working just fine. Can you hear me better now? I hope so. Cool. Anyway, I was saying that this is the Thoth Tarot, and the other one is a Rider-Waite Tarot. So please let me know what your question is. Exclaim and another person on YouTube. Kevin Tribuan. Nice to meet you. I'm a new subscriber. Fantastic. Yes, please put your question, Biko. And I'm doing good. Thank you, Exclaim. How about you? Kevin, you're welcome to get into that list. Please just drop your question. Actually, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. The question can come after the cards have been put down. I like someone and I want to know if they are single. Okay. That's a yes or no question, so like I'm gonna ask this thing because this thing gives yes or no question answers to questions. It's a pendulum. It like swings one way or another way depending on yes or no. So on behalf of the one referred to as Biko, is his or her crush single? Okay, so the pendulum's giving me a very gentle back and forward swing, which is a yes, but when it's really gentle like that, it's kind of saying that you won't be able to benefit from it. And then it gave me a very abrupt anti-clockwise rotation. And that anti-clockwise rotation kind of says that you're going to end up going backwards. You might be able to get into a relationship with this person, but it's going to send you backwards. Like whatever you've been doing with your life, whatever you've been working towards, whatever kind of progress you've been making, you're going to lose it. You're going to go backwards, backtrack. That relationship will lead to backtracking. They are single, but even if you try and get into a relationship with it, it's not going to be in your interest. And the tarot will have some more advice for you. Princess of Swords. Now that's very interesting. Princess of Swords is like, it's like you're trapped on the top of a burning building and you don't really know where to go. It's like you've been trying to escape the flames of this burning building, the building being your house or your goals or your studies, something you have been trying to accomplish, and you feel like it's about to be ruined. There's fire getting closer, and you're climbing up the stairs, going higher and higher in the building to get away from the flames, and now you're on the roof and there's nowhere left to go, but the house is still burning. So it's like this relationship, the possibility of this relationship with this individual, it looks like the way out for you. And this card wants to say to you that that's not the case. Your creativity is the way out. You can find a way to put the fire out, basically. Your ingenuity can help you put the fire out. You don't have to escape the building. You can actually combat the flames. You can grab a fire extinguisher. You can grab a wet blanket. Those are symbols. I don't know exactly what the scenario is for you, but any obstacle that you face, like if I have goals and I'm working towards them, the only person who can prevent me from fulfilling my goals is myself. And yes, the universe will bring unforeseen events and obstacles my way. I get to decide if I'm going to let those obstacles ruin my plans, or if I'm going to be flexible and find a way around them, if I'm going to be creative and find solutions. So this card just wants to remind you that you are the one who's responsible for your goals. You are the one who's responsible for failure and success. Misfortune is a choice. You have to choose to fail. And that's within your own life, not within this relationship. And the cards are saying nothing about whether they like you back or not. Horse-drawn portrait, you haven't missed your turn yet. You're up next. And then Kevin is after you. And then Exclaim said he had a question. Let me just make sure. Question for a friend. Should he work for the Red Cross or should he stay as a teacher? Interesting. So overall, is this positive for me? No, it's very negative for you, Biko. You can ask them if you like, but it's not going to be in your favor. That is what I'm getting from the divination, is that they are single, but they're actually not interested in a relationship with you. And if you do manage to get into a relationship with them, it's going to be backtracking. It's going to be a shit experience for both of you. Okay. Horse-drawn portrait is up next. So Biko, I'm sorry, not sorry actually, for the very dreary reading that you got. Horse-drawn chariot. I keep scrolling up to check a question and then forgetting to read it when I find it. Scrolling. Oh, there is no question, not yet. You're welcome, Biko. And by the way, it's Karine with a Q and an I. So that's Q instead of K and I instead of E. Wondered if getting things off my chest to people would help me move on, or what would. Yeah, usually that does help a person. Communication is very important, but we'll see what kind of advice the tarot has for you on that topic. Excuse me guys, it's my internet that's fucking around, not yours. A horse-drawn portrait. Are you an artist? Portrait. Ten of discs in reverse. Ten of discs in reverse. This doesn't seem to be to do with relationships, although I thought your question was related to relationships. Oh, I guess it could. Ten of discs is just about like missing out. It's like losses, experiencing losses of investments. Now that doesn't have to be monetary investments. That could be investments of your time into a relationship. And yeah, it's talking about losses in that regard. This card also wants to again emphasize on the fact that misfortune is a choice. Like you are still fortunate throughout that relationship, even if things didn't turn out the way you wanted them to. It's still, you still learn from it. It's still an evolution. There's still fortune, still something to gain from the experience. And it's only if you look back and you blame the other person for everything that went wrong, and you blame the environment, and you blame other people, and you don't take responsibility for your part to play when you were successful and when you did well, or when you failed and when you didn't do well. If you don't take responsibility and you blame everybody else and the environment, that's when you are in misfortune. That's when you miss out completely. You didn't learn anything and you missed out. So yeah, misfortune is a choice, and it wants to just emphasize on that. What else does it want to say? It wants you to invest new seeds. It wants you to start sowing new seeds into new relationships. Now when you start out a relationship, it doesn't start out romantic, But basically it wants you to start that process of communicating. Like you were saying, should I get things off of my chest? Yes, that's how you're sowing seeds. You know, to start communicating with people. Setting new relationships in motion. Braneb 2020, welcome. Present end of the card is the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups. What is this one? This is about setting emotional boundaries. So it wants you to be mindful, you know, when you go and communicate with people, and when you welcome back Dappy Kogram, when you go and interact with these people and you get things off your chest, as you say, make sure that you are not like burdening them with your problems or vampirizing their attention and their energy, basically. There are certain individuals, like for me most of the time it's been Pisces, but that, you know, I'm not going to say all Pisces are emotional vampires, but the Pisces that I have met have been, where they constantly complaining. Every time that they want to have a conversation with you, every time that you interact with them, they're complaining about shit that's going on in their life. They're being very emotionally needy, and they kind of feel entitled to your sympathy. And if you don't give it to them, they can actually get quite offensive and defensive. So that card wants you to be mindful that you don't end up doing that to people. And if there are people in your life who are doing that to you, you need to put boundaries down and say to them, hey, that's not valuable to me. You know, what kind of friendship is this if all I'm here to do is to be somewhere for you to dump all of your emotional baggage and to complain. God's Lake, welcome back. It has been, hey, it's been a long time, long ass fucking time. Future interval card is the Ace of Swords, and it's reversed. So horse-drawn portrait, this is like saying that communication might be a bad idea. And the advice it has for you is to be mindful who you are vulnerable with. Be mindful who you're getting things off of your chest towards. So if you know someone is a gossip and a snitch and a generally untrustworthy, nasty individual, keep your mouth shut. Don't say a word to them. If you know someone to be reliable, supportive, kind and generous, then please, by all means, go ahead and open your mouth and communicate as much as you like. So I guess that's what this card is saying. It's just a warning saying it's not wise to just trust everybody. It's not wise to trust everybody with the things that you're going through and have been going through. The things you want to get off your chest, not everybody needs to hear about it. Choose who you are vulnerable with wisely. How do you have a very good memory? By practicing, God's Lake. Math will help you get a good memory, you know, doing math regularly, even if it's small problems. And then giving yourself things to memorize, like a random set of random numbers and letters and special characters, and then memorizing it. And doing that regularly. And what else helps with memory? What else do I do to help myself with memory? Learning a new language will help you with your memory, for sure. And a new language doesn't have to be a spoken tongue. It can be music, it can be divination, programming. Of course, God's Lake, you can be on the list. Let me just make sure that I've got the list in order, because after horse-drawn portrait, who was next? Was it Kevin or was it Exclaim? Kevin said, hi, nice to meet you, new subscriber. Bullshit. And welcome, Vic. Don't know if I greeted when you came in. Exclaim is next, and then Kevin. So Kevin, it's not a requirement that you be a subscriber before you can receive a reading, so I don't know why you had to claim to be a subscriber when you're not. It's weird. Doing math, like calculating the derivative of arcsin 2 by 2. What is that upwards pointing arrow? What does that mean? 2 plus 2 times plus 2 Just joking. Exclaim says Kevin was before me. I'm looking at my queue and it doesn't seem to be. Okay, Kevin did say, can I be on the list before Exclaim says I have a question. You're right. Okay, Kevin, are you still here? Kevin's gone. The viewer counter fell dramatically. So I'm gonna go ahead and read for Exclaim then, since Kevin's not here. Upwards pointy 2 means exponent. Okay, so I'm gonna lay these cards out for you. Actually, I'm not gonna lay any cards out for you, Exclaim. I'm gonna draw one card for your friend, which is that one. And then I'm gonna ask the pendulum to confirm whether he should stick with his current job or abandon it. What's 2 plus 1? I have no idea, Considic. I would have no idea. I don't know math. Don't know that language. Okay, so should X